Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Berkeli and welcome to my channel. In today's video we'll be taking a look at the new Tier 8 French heavy tank, the AMX 65 ton. The new armored heavy tanks of the French nation branch off from the Tier 7 AMX M445, which leads to the Tier 8 AMX 65 ton and Tier 9 AMX M451 and the Tier 10 AMX M454. Now I'm not a big fan of the AMX 65 ton, but I have played it to unlock the AMX M451s, and I didn't free XP any of the models or the tank itself, and it was one hell of a dreadful experience. And let me tell you why. Let's take a look at the stats of this tank fully upgraded. So as you can see on paper, this tank doesn't look too bad. It has 400 alpha, 218 penetration, which is not too bad for a Tier 8 heavy tank. The DPM is a bit lacking, but it's not too bad, it's just average. I mean, you can't compare it to the Canard one, which has 2600 DP damage per minute, but I mean, it gets the job done. Taking a look at the armor, this is where it gets quite funny. The hull armor is utter trash. 100mm of pike nose, which is at such a bad angle that even Tier 7 tanks can penetrate you without much difficulty, and if you angle this tank, such as if you're side scraping or whatever, then it's basically no armor at all. The turret armor isn't too bad, it's 250mm, but it doesn't have much of angle on it, so I mean, you won't be able to block much of damage with the turret. And on top of that, on top of the turret I mean, you have two huge cupolas. They have about 200mm of armor each, but any tank above Tier 8 has enough penetration to go right through them. And even with the worst accuracy, you won't be able to miss them, because look at how huge they are. And did I mention how hideous this tank looks? Just look at it. Yeah, it's just, I mean, the mobility of this tank is also just average. It's not slow, but it's not fast either. IS-3 will be faster than this tank. The T-32 has pretty much the same mobility as this tank. So as you can see, overall this tank is just average, and in some places below average, and it was one of my worst grinds in World of Tanks, and I honestly think this is one of the worst Tier 8 heavy tanks. But there's one thing you can do that kind of fixes this tank. So if we go ahead and downgrade the turret, well, we'll need to downgrade the gun first, then we downgrade the turret, and look at that, it has 250mm of armor, but the turret shape is much better, and you have a very small cupola. It's only 80mm though, but still I would rather have one cupola than two huge cupolas. And on top of all that, you get better gun depression, -10 instead of -8 with a 120mm gun. So I think that's kind of crucial when you're trying to play with your turret and your hull is paper. Another thing that you get with the stock turret and the 100mm gun is higher DPM, better accuracy, which is also, I mean, not too bad. But of course you lose a lot of alpha, you drop to 300 from 400 of alpha damage, and you get better penetration, both with standard ammunition and with gold ammunition as well. So let's take a look at this turret armor and the hull armor as well in the 3D model of this tank. So guys, here we have the AMX 65 ton with the stock turret, and as you can see, it has a resemblance with the AMX M449, which is the Tier 8 French premium tank. And it has the resemblance because the turret is exactly the same with the Tier 8 French heavy premium tank. But let's go ahead and take a look at the armor of this tank and compare it to the upgraded turret of this tank. So as you can see, it's all red when you're looking at the front, and as you can see, it's pretty much everywhere. It's 260 plus. Some places have like 180mm behind the gun mantlet, so I mean, no one's gonna be able to hit you in those points. But as you can see from the front, it's all 260 plus. which is prone even to most of the tier 10 tanks in World of Tanks. And here's the cupola that I mentioned. It's only 60mm of armor, and I mean, if you get hit in the cupola, they will most likely penetrate it. But the cupola is small, and if you're using the 10 degrees of gun depression, it's very hard to hit. I have played the M449 quite a lot, and I have 3-marked that tank, and I can tell you the turret is decent. I mean, with the exception of the cupola, it is quite a good turret for a tier 8 tank. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the upgraded turret. So the upgraded turret, as you can see here, it's about 220mm in most places, but due to the angle of the turret you get about 240-250mm of armor, which is not too bad, but the turret has its own very big weak spots, such as this place. It's only 80mm, and even when the enemies are looking up on you, it's only 170-180mm of armor, which is, I mean, mostly where you will get penetrated if you're playing with this turret. And if you take a look at the cupolas, it's only about 200mm, and this is also about like 190-200mm of armor, and they are really big weak spots. I mean, I don't get wargaming. On some tanks they don't give cupolas at all, and on some tanks they just give huge ass cupolas which you don't even know what to do with. But okay, so you see the differences between the turrets. The choice is yours. If you prefer the high alpha gun, I mean, you have to suffer through this turret, and if you're okay with the low alpha gun, then you play with a more decent turret. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hull armor. So if you are head on with this tank, look at this, 160mm of armor, 160, 180. It's not a heavy tank's hull. Any tank can penetrate you, and if you're trying to side scrape or whatever, then good luck with that. It's 130, 140mm, and the cheek as well. Like, you cannot side scrape, you cannot do anything in this tank with the top turret. With a stock turret, you can at least play hull down, use your 10 degrees of gun depression, and you're good to go. And the side armor is not too great. It has only 60mm of armor, like where the tracks are, and about 80mm of armor just above that. And also, what I would like to say is that this tank is very weird to play due to the turret placing. Look at where the turret is. I mean, it's not at the back, it's not at the front, it's in the middle of this tank, which makes it really weird to poke the corners or to side scrape or whatever. It's really difficult to block any amount of damage with this tank. So let's go ahead and compare this tank with the stock turret to the premium tank, the AMX M449, and see how it stacks up against this brother. So when compared to the AMX M449, they have the same gun, but the 65 ton has a slightly higher DPM, about 100 damage per minute more, but this tank gets worse gun handling. It has longer aim time, but better accuracy, and also this tank gets better mobility due to the more powerful engine and lower weight, 62 tons against 70 tons. Now the hull armor is non-existent on this tank, 100mm for heavy tank. If you show your hull, you're pretty much dead meat. And if you've owned this tank, then you know the turret is quite good, but it has a small cupola, which can be penetrated by pretty much any tank. Also, what I should mention is that stock turret gets 350mm of view range, but the top turret will get 370 meters of view range, which is kind of important, but you saw the armor of the top turret. I mean, it's just unusable. So you have the basic idea of this tank now, and let's jump into a battle so we can see what this all means in practice. So we are playing on the Sand River map, and there is no artillery in this game, so what I like to do is go to the center of the map. I mean, usually I prefer to go there if I have some view range, but I'm relying on my light tanks, and hopefully I can shoot some tanks. Now, this position is really bad if there's RT, because you will permanently be spotted by the light tanks of the enemy team and by some of the tank destroyers as well. As you can see, I'm already spotted, and if the enemy has artillery, then they would just keep... I mean, you know what's gonna happen. And also, while you're driving there, you can get shot from the tank destroyers, from the enemy tank destroyers, but I think it's worth the risk. And from this position we can we'll have some nice shots to take at the enemy tanks. And as you might have noticed, I'm playing with the top turret with a 400 alpha gun, 120mm. I mean, I was trying out which gun is better on this tank, and as you can see, the side of this tank doesn't have any armor. I had no chance to angle against that T-34-100, so he just penetrates me. As you can see, the shell velocity on this gun is quite nice, and I tried to take a shot at the Tiger P. I mean, I didn't aim for the weak spots because, I mean, it's very dangerous to poke at this spot because enemies can shoot you, and unfortunately I don't pen that Tiger prototype. But I'm pretty sure that shot into the Cromwell went right in. And as you can see, the tank destroyers of the enemy are just camping there. And as you can see, that T-30 can... I mean, he could have shot me if I was there too long. That T-10 is making a huge mistake. That's a really bad spot to be in. I mean, you can't do much from that spot. To take shots, you have to be exposed to all of us. And, I mean, just don't. If you're in the other spawn on this map, just go to the middle, or go to the IS-3 spot where you can shoot these tanks. But I mean, it's quite difficult to play on this tank in the assault mode if you're in the enemy spawn. And as you can see, that T-10, I mean, a bit of an unlucky shot. I was hoping to pen its side. And I think that shot could have went in. I didn't see the explosion, so which would mean I hit the T-10. I'm not sure if it penetrated or not. Let's take a look at this Armour Brasher, if we can take a shot. No, he gets unspotted. Now, if you don't have spots, I'm pinging at that 1375 because, I mean, what is he doing there? Come on, just drive around the middle, spot some tanks so I can take a shot. That T-52 lightweight is doing a good job spotting the Armour Brasher. And I tried to aim at the cupola, and look at that shot, beautiful. Goes right in where I aimed. That's what I like about World of Tanks, which, I mean, doesn't happen often, but... And this T-10, man, come on, just don't. Look at him. What is he even trying to do? But I'll take it. I mean, free damage for me, right? Yeah. I guess my luck ran out when I hit that Armour Brasher in the cupola. So, no luck in hitting that T-10's cupola. T-30, a bit of a tricky shot. I mean, if I had the smaller gun with the 232mm of penetration, maybe it would penetrate the cheeks, because he's, I mean, not looking directly at me, so the armor is a bit less, but no luck there. And I'm trying to get rid of this T-10, because, I mean, if he had a couple of brain cells, he could have shot at me, and he could have... I mean, I was fully exposed to him with the side of my turret most of the game, so... we're just lucky that he was a bit of a bad player. And it's already 8-2, I mean, this battle is pretty much won, but we can't just rush in, as there are some tank destroyers still camping, so I'm just waiting to see if we can get a few more spots. Maybe that 1375 can spot the T-30. Yeah. Come on. No, it doesn't go in. So let's take a look what else we can do in this battle. Pershing, that should go in. Yep, we take it down. A lot of damage. 3. And let's take a look. As you can see, that T-54 lightweight is doing a really good job. I mean, this battle is won pretty much thanks to him, because I mean, he did a lot of spotting. That T-30 decides to just YOLO, I don't know, maybe he just really wanted to kill that T-10, so he just rushed through the middle of the map instead of playing with his turret, so that's his mistake, and that costed him his tank. And there are only 3 enemy tanks left. WZ-131 is trying to make a play against the ISU. Let's see if he can get a shot at this tank. And yeah, not enough compression there. Auto aim. Oh shit. Yep, there we go. Yeah, good luck penning me with that angle. Let's see if you can take a couple of more shots in this game. Note that this one is gone. There are 2 STRVS-1s. Let's see if there are any more shots in this game to be done. Oh, the T-95 is rushing. And I'm not moving from this position because, I mean, come on, I'm in a slow tank. I'm never gonna catch up with the STRVS-1 or whatever, and we have nice shots from this point. And that STRVS-1 gets rushed by allies, so this battle should be over pretty soon. I don't think I will get any more shots though, so let's take a look at the post-game results and see how we did. Oh, let's see. Oh my god, that was so close. So taking a look at the post-battle results, 3700 damage, 4 kills, not much damage blocked because, I mean, there weren't many people shooting at us, luckily. Only first class. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't have any spectacular games in this tank. All the battles are pretty average, I mean all the good battles, so that's the best it can do. I mean, you can only snipe with this tank, you cannot... it's just not as flexible as many of the other tanks. And as you can see, this T-54 lightweight, 3.8k, I mean, spotting damage, I mean, quite good. He did a hell of a job in assisting us win this battle. Not much profit made, in fact, I barely broke even because I was using the premium consumables. So yeah, pretty average game, I mean, nothing outstanding, and I honestly think this tank is one of the worst tier 8 heavy tanks, and I'm not sure what Wargaming is trying to do here, because they give you like 2 options. They give you like a nice turret with a, I mean, with an average gun, and they give you a shit turret with an excellent gun, and not to mention the view range as well, which is, I mean, quite important in World of Tanks. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comment section below if you have played this tank and what you think of it. Subscribe if you wish to see more reviews. Currently I'm grinding the AMX M451, so there will be a review coming on it pretty soon, and boy, I love that tank. I mean, all the tears that you will shed in the AMX 65 ton are totally worth it just to get the tier 9 French heavy tank. So stay tuned, fellow tankers, and I'll see you in the next video.